Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is with us now. Hello to you, Chancellor. Very good morning. I know that you want to talk about the cost of living and VAT, and normally you bamboozle me with figures, so I thought I would bring it down to the level that I can understand, and hopefully some of our viewers as well. I know you're going to be game for this. I've got a tin of dog food here. Apparently 33% of households in the UK own a dog, and 12 million people...
I'm one of them, Kay.
I know, Poppy, I was going to bring up. Don't think I haven't done my research. Apparently dog food has gone up 58% this year. Would a Tory government reduce the cost of pet food if you won at the next election?
Well, we want to stop the cost of pet food going up because food inflation has been going up. And, well, I can't make a commitment about reducing prices. They're decided in a market economy by lots of different actors.
You've already fallen into my trap. That's where you're wrong. There's VAT
it's
on
a
dog
big
food.
trap, isn't it, Kay?
There's VAT on dog food. You could scrap dog food, VAT on dog food, like that.
Yes, I could. There are lots of taxes I'd like to bring down, Kay. The most important thing I can do for families at home is to stop prices going up by supporting the Bank of England to bring down inflation. And that's why the managing director of the International Monetary Fund just last week said the difficult decisions that Rishi Sunak and I have taken are paying off and the UK economy is in a good place. But in terms of the bigger question you ask, which is, how do we make it more affordable for people to pay for their weekly shop? What you need is for wages to be going up faster than prices. And they've been doing that now for 10 months, despite the fact that we were predicted to have the longest recession in 100 years. Because of those very difficult decisions we've taken, the economy has stabilised, wages are going up faster than inflation, and the pressure on people's weekly shop, on the cost of living, is easing, and I think that is very important.
On behalf of Poppy and dogs around the country, would you consider withdrawing VAT on pet food?
Well, I could give you a flippant answer and say that dogs don't have a vote, this isn't on my list.
I've seen dogs at polling stations.
The truth is that... Yeah, but they're not to my knowledge are they voting. I think this interview is going in the wrong direction, don't you, Kay?
No,
let me say this.
I think there's a very serious underlying point, which is that a third of the households in the United Kingdom own dogs, and it's costing them a fortune to feed. Do you know how much a tin of dog food costs?
There are lots of different tins of dog food.
Yeah,
can I just say this, Kay? I want to make my serious commitment here. A future Conservative government will not increase... I'm about to make a commitment. It's a very important one for your viewers to hear. A future Conservative government will not increase VAT, income tax or national insurance. In fact, we want to bring taxes down. And that is the main difference in all the fluff of an election campaign. One of the biggest differences between the two parties is that Labour have no plans to bring down the tax burden. Conservatives say if you look around the world, the most successful economies in America and Asia are ones with lower tax burdens. We will do the hard work to bring down taxes, and that is a very important difference.
Yeah, lots of pensioners have pets. People living solely on their state pension would only save 28 pence a week by 2028. How on earth can that policy be helpful to pensioners that you announced earlier on in the week?
Well, that number is a nonsense because of what we announced earlier in the week. The average pensioner will see their tax bill. By the way, what we've said is that we will make sure that the threshold at which you pay income tax always rises in line with inflation so that it's not caught up in the income tax threshold. That's very important to pensioners. It will save the average pensioner £100 next year or £1,000 over the course of the next Parliament. So that's a very significant commitment to pensioners who don't want to get caught in paying income tax that they might not be paying at the moment.
I'm glad you brought up income tax thresholds. The IFS says that pensioners used to enjoy a higher tax-free allowance than they do now when it was scrapped in 2010, 2011 under your government. Apparently it's now 10% lower than it was then.
Well, let's look at the overall decisions that we've taken to help pensioners, including those
Well, let's just
decisions.
talk about that.
but
You said
look
the
at it in
threshold was
round.
going
The
up,
state-
but it's
hang on, let me
not.
finish. Kay, can I just answer? I just want to answer your question.
Go on.
Because of the introduction of the triple lock, which this Conservative government did, the state pension has gone up by £3,700 since 2010. We have looked after pensioners. We will continue to look after pensioners because we recognise that they are different from everyone else in that when times are tough, other people have the option to work longer hours. Pensioners don't have that option, and that's why we think it's right that they get special treatment.
They used to have special treatment until you scrapped it in 2010, 2011. Why would you not bring that back?
What's the triple lock then, Kay? The triple lock is something that pensioners never had until a Conservative government introduced it, and that has meant that their pension has gone up faster. It actually has also meant that when we came into office, pensioners were more likely than other groups to be in poverty. Now they're less likely than other groups to be in poverty in the context of overall absolute poverty levels going down.
Okay. Reading the paper this morning that Mr. Sunak says to back him for low interest rates. I thought that you and him and others who represent the Conservative Party tell us that you have nothing to do with interest rates. Isn't that the Bank of England?
It is. They decide the level of interest rates independently. But the reason that the Prime Minister said what he said is because Labour have not funded about £38 billion of spending commitments. And if they had to fund that through borrowing more, then that puts pressure on the Bank of England to increase interest rates. And so what we're saying is that, since Rishi Sunak and I have taken on the reins, we've taken very difficult decisions to put the public finances back on an even keel. That has made it possible to bring down inflation and for the Bank of England to bring down interest rates. And we don't want that to change, and we're worried that under a future Labour government it would change.
I want to talk about Liz Truss, if I may. Apparently she's appeared on the Lotus Eaters platform as a podcast. It's run by Carl Benjamin. He said previously that, in his words, he wouldn't even rape Jess Phillips. And then he went on to say, I suppose with enough pressure I might cave, but let's be honest, nobody's got that much beer. And our former Prime Minister, a representative of your party, went on his podcast.
I didn't actually hear exactly what you said, but it sounded like there were some pretty despicable comments about Jess Phillips, and we certainly would absolutely not condone those. Look, I can't speak for Liz Truss. She makes her own decisions. But what I did as Chancellor was I reversed most of the big decisions that she had taken in a very short period of time in order to restore stability in the markets. And the result of those difficult decisions is that just last week, the International Monetary Fund said the British economy was in a good place, and they think we're going to grow faster than France, Italy, Germany, Japan over the next 6 years. So looking forward, the choice is this: having turned a corner because of difficult decisions we took in the face of a pandemic, a global energy shock, other difficult decisions since 2010 as well, do we want to put that at risk with a Labour Party that can't even make up its mind on something like VAT this week, as we've seen from the shambles coming out from the Labour Party headquarters?
OK, I was expecting you in the studio today. I was promised that you were coming in to see me, which is why I bought this tin of dog food, so that you could give it to Poppy. And I'm just going to hammer the point once more. Dog lovers around the country would like you to take VAT on pet food. Will you at least consider it?
Look, I totally understand how important pets are, and Poppy is the most favourite person in my life, apart from my wife and kids, but most favourite animal in my life, I should say. I'm getting in a twist here. But I'm afraid I can't make a commitment on that on dog food. But all I'll say is that if you're talking about bringing down taxes, they will be lower under a Conservative government than a Labour government as night follows day.
OK, well, I think that answer's a bit woof, so I better let you go. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Chancellor.
Thanks, Kay.